Shave the tape next time, the primary technicians told him. That way it won't jam. Didn't it occur to you that it had a safety factor built into it? So it would stop rather than... What happens, Paul interrupted, his voice low and intensely careful, if no tape passed under the scanner? No tape, nothing at all. The photocell shining upward without impedance. The technicians glanced at each other. One said, all the neural circuits jump their gap and short out. Meaning what? Paul said. Meaning it's the end of the mechanism. Paul said, I've examined the circuit. It doesn't carry enough voltage to do that. Metal won't fuse under such slight loads of current, even if the terminals are touching. We're talking about a millionth of a watt along a cesium channel, perhaps a 16th of an inch in length. Let's assume there are a billion of possible combinations, at one instant arising the punched out on the tape. The total output isn't cumulative. The amount of current depends on what the battery details for that model. And it's not much, with all gates open and going. Would we lie? One of the technicians asked warily. Why not? Paul said. Here, I have an opportunity to experience everything simultaneously, to know the universe and in its entirety. Here I have an opportunity to experience everything simultaneously, to know the universe in its entirety, to be momentarily in contact with all reality, something that no human can do. A symphonic score entering my brain outside of time, all notes, all instruments sounding at once, and all symphonies. Do you see? It'll burn you out, both technicians said together. I don't think so, Paul said. Sarah said, would you like a cup of coffee, Mr. Poole? Yes, he said. He lowered his legs, pressed his cold feet against the floor, shuddered, and then stood up. His body ached. They had me lying all night on the couch, he realized. All things considered, they could have done better than that. At the kitchen table in the far corner of the room, Garson Poole sat sipping coffee across from Sarah. The technicians had long since gone. You're not going to try any more experiments on yourself, are you? Sarah asked wistfully. Poole grated. I would like to control time, to reverse it. I will cut a segment of tape out, he thought, and fuse it in upside down. The causal sequences will then flow the other way. Thereupon, I will walk backward down the steps from the roof field, back up to my door, push a locked door open, walk backward to the sink, where I will get out a stack of dirty dishes. I will seat myself at this table before the stack, fill each dish with food produced from my stomach. I will then transfer the food to the refrigerator. The next day, I will take the food out of the refrigerator, pack it in bags, carry the bags to the supermarket, distribute the food here and there in the store. And at last, at the front counter, they will pay me money for this from their cash register. The food will be packed with other food in big plastic boxes, shipped out to the city, shipped out of the city into the hydroponic plants of the Atlantic, there to be joined back to the trees and bushes or the bodies of dead animals or pushed deep into the ground. But what would all that prove? A videotape running backward. I would know more than I know now, which is not enough. What I want, he realized, is ultimate and absolute reality. for 1 microsecond. That it doesn't matter, because all will be known. Nothing will be left to understand or see. I might try one other change, he said to himself, before I try cutting the tape. I will prick new punch holes in the tape and see what presently emerges. It will be interesting because I will not know what the holes I make mean. Using the tip of a micro tool, he punched several holes at random on the tape, as close to the scanner as he could manage. He did not want to wait. I wonder if you'll see it, he said to Sarah. Apparently not, insofar as he could extrapolate. Something might show up, he said to her. I just want to warn you. I don't want you to be afraid. Oh dear, Sarah said. He examined his wristwatch. 1 minute passed, and then a second, a third. Then, in the center of the room appeared a flock of green and black ducks. They quacked excitedly, rose from the floor, fluttered against the ceiling in a dithering mass of feathers and wings, and frantic in their vast urge, their instinct to get away. Ducks, Cole said, marveling. I punched a hole for a flight of wild ducks. Now something else appeared. A park bench with an elderly, tattered man seated on it, reading a torn bench newspaper. He looked up. Dimly made out, Poole smiled briefly at him with badly made dentures, and then returned to his folded back newspaper. He read on. Do you see him? Poole asked Sarah. And the ducks. At that moment, the ducks and the park bum disappeared. Nothing remained of them. The interval of their punch hole had quickly passed. They weren't real, Sarah said. Were they? So how? You're not real, he told Sarah. You're a stimulus factor of my reality tape, a punch hole that can be glazed over. Do you also have an existence in another reality tape? Or one in an objective reality? He did not know. He couldn't tell. Perhaps Sarah did not know either. Perhaps she existed in 1,000 reality tapes, perhaps on every reality tape ever manufactured. If I cut the tape, he said, you will be everywhere and nowhere, like everything else in the universe, at least as far as I'm aware of it. Sarah faltered. I am real. I want to know you completely, Poole said. To do that, I must cut the tape. If I don't do it now, I'll do it some other times. It's inevitable that eventually I'll do it. So why wait? He asked himself. And there is always the possibility that Densman has reported back to my maker, that they will be making moves to head me off, because perhaps I'm endangering their property, myself. You make me wish I had gone to the office after all, Sarah said, her mouth turned down with dimpled gloom. Go, he said. I don't want to leave you alone. It'll be fine, Poole said. No, you're not going to be fine. You're going to unplug yourself or something, kill yourself because you found out you're an electric ant and not a human being. He said presently, maybe so. Maybe it boiled down to that. And I can't stop you, she said. No, he nodded in agreement. But I'm going to stay, Sarah said. Even if I can't stop you, because if I do leave you and you do kill yourself, I'll always ask myself for the rest of my life what would have happened if I had stayed, you see? Again he nodded. Go ahead, Sarah said. He rose to his feet. It's not pain I'm going to feel, he told her, although it may look like that to you. Keep in mind the fact that organic robots have minimal pain circuits in them. I will be experiencing the most intense... Don't tell me anymore, she broke in. Just do it if you're going to, or don't do it if you're not.